Good evening. Today is Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. The time is 6:14 p.m., and this is a special meeting of the Romulus Community Schools Board of Education. We are streaming live on YouTube right now, and due to Senate Bill 1108, Wayne County Local Public Health Department Emergency Epidemic Order in response to the COVID-19 pandemic, under MCL 333.2453, declaration of continued emergency due to the COVID-19 to allow public meetings of governmental bodies to be held remotely under Public Act 228 of 2020, extended from June 30th, 2021 to December 31st, 2021. So, Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll, and those board members joining us remotely, please state your geographical location for the record, please.
Wester,
Wester is excused.
German, Kennard,
Here, Romulus, Wayne County.
Terrell,
Romulus, Wayne County.
Piles,
Present.
Evetts present. We have a quorum.
And Bergeron is absent tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bergeron is absent.
We have a quorum. Will everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Tonight, I move that the Board of Education accept the meeting agenda with the amendment to add an action item for our workshop that is scheduled for August 5th. Is there support?
Support.
Moved by Piles, supported by Evetts. Roll call vote, please.
Kennard,
Yes.
German, Terrell,
Yes.
Evetts is yes. Piles,
Yes. Motion carries. Mr. Cooper, do we have any public comment tonight for agenda items? Okay, seeing none, the board moved to bring in MASB for our workshop, and since that has been mutually agreed upon that we would not go with MASB for this next session, that is the item that was added to this amended agenda. So I move that the Board of Education moves to cancel the August 5th, 2021 workshop previously scheduled with MASB. And whereas the board previously invited MASB to provide a workshop regarding superintendent board relations to be held on August 5th, 2021, and whereas the board and MASB have since agreed to cancel the workshop, it is resolved that the August 5th, 2021 workshop with MASB is hereby canceled. Is there support?
Support Kennard.
Moved by Piles, supported by German. Any questions or discussion?
Madam President, will there be a rescheduled?
So
Or
this
retreat?
is, yes, so actually, we're still having our workshop. This was mutually agreed upon with Rod, and I will forward that email, but we will still be having our workshop on the 5th. It's just the presenter who's coming in will meet with Dr. Edmondson and I first. So we're still meeting. This is just a formality because the board had voted to do the workshop with MASB, and we're going to be doing that at a later time. If there are no more questions, Madam Secretary, will you please call the vote?
German, Terrell, Kennard,
Yes.
Piles,
Yes.
Evans is yes. Terrell, Terrell,
Motion carries. Please let the record reflect that there are connection problems with Ms. Terrell. Next on our agenda is an action item for the contracts. It's the central office professional and support staff. And for those of you watching on YouTube tonight, our audience has many of our central office staff here tonight. We just noticed in these contracts that we are to approve and sign tonight that the language for the paid vacations has not been included in it. There are, I don't remember, Ms. Evans, do you know how many paid vacation or holidays that we give our central office staff?
I
And-
believe it's 17 from what I remember from the previous ones.
Okay, and that language is not in these contracts, and for that reason and that reason only, I move that the Board of Education postpone this vote until we have the contracts with all of the language, giving our central office staff in contract those paid holidays. Is there support? Support. Discussion? And,
Yes, this is Kennard.
yes, Ms. Kennard.
So that is normally a portion that's always in contract. So I'm not quite sure understanding, is it, but did we overlook that, or
So, Ms.
is
Kennard,
that something?
it's difficult to hear you. You sound a bit muffled or jarbled. I will, the contracts state that they have the vacation time of 12 days, and that 5 can be carried over. But normally in our contracts, we list all of the paid holidays that our central office staff gets, and these contracts were revised, and it is not included in here, but that is something that our central office staff employees get. That is part of their contract. I don't know why those aren't listed in here. There is language that states, according to the employee handbook. However, at Monday's meeting, it is on the record that we don't have a handbook, and it's being currently written. And at the same time, we spoke about the employee handbook that was provided free of charge from our policy committee, but unfortunately, it hasn't been adopted yet. So to protect all of our employees and to protect the fidelity of our processes as a board, I have moved that we postpone the approval of these contracts, not disputing pay or anything, but so that we are consistent in our language and clearly giving these paid holidays. I don't
Well,
know why they were removed.
Yeah, that's a very, to those that this is affecting, that is a very important and vital piece that should be part of your contract in terms of your holiday pay. Is that what I'm understanding? So, yeah, that's very important, and it should not be overlooked.
Do any other board members have any questions or comments?
I just want to make sure that those that are here, those that are watching on YouTube, please understand that we are here to make you feel as important as we possibly can. Your wages are important to us, but so are your benefits. And some of these contracts, as I read them, I don't understand them. So please understand that it's nothing against the staff. We want to understand what we're giving you. And I don't mean to say as a gift. I want to be able to understand what we're all entitled to and receiving. So please don't take this to heart, don't take it personally. We are trying to protect your position and pay scale.
I will state this on the record and to all of our employees who are joining us in person and virtually. No board member has disputed your salary, your pay. There's no disputing that, no concerns over that. So know that the pay that is presented in the contracts, each individual board member and the board as a whole is fine with that. Our concern is that your paid holidays are not stated in the contracts, and we need them to be. If there are no more questions, Madam Secretary, will you please call the roll?
Can I ask a question? So we have payroll, are we allowed to go ahead and pay them?
We have to vote on this motion on the floor, and then we can talk about that.
Kennard,
Yes.
German. Terrell. Piles.
Yes,
Evans. Yes.
motion carries. And I will ask the board members, this is a simple fix. If we just get the contracts with that language in it, I'm willing to do a special meeting at any time. It would be the only action item, and it would just be one action item to approve all contracts.
Could it be a remote?
It can be remote, absolutely. So as soon as this language is corrected, and we can have a quorum who meets, even virtually, and Sean, I would ask that we resolve this as expeditiously as possible, just the contract language, so that we can approve it for all those employees affected.
Madam President, I have a question.
Yes, Ms. Kennard?
In doing so, is this affecting their current pay
Well, that's
in terms of when being
yeah.
continued? How is this affecting them?
So, yeah, we were asking that. So, here's the thing: is contracts are not binding until approved by the board. So, and I think that we've made that clear. So, I guess if in any instance, if there's an overpayment, that then is rectified later. But there won't be an overpayment because we don't have a problem with this. So the answer is kind of like, it doesn't affect pay, but the contract's not approved yet. Does that make sense, Ms. Claire? Yes. Okay.
So nothing changes from the last pay period?
Right. So I just want to, yeah, and just for the record, I do want to state that we are being consistent in how, when contracts become effective, when they're approved by the board, so.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Kennard. And thank you to each of you who came out tonight. I apologize. I know that this is stressful and uncertain for each of you. I just want to assure you that absolutely we are not contesting your salaries. We are making sure our contract language is very clear and unambiguous in your favor.
Madam President, may I say something?
Sure.
with regard to this?
Yes.
Just for, just for clarity's sake, in one of the contracts, it says that the insurance benefits and all other benefits are defined in the employee handbook. And it is that handbook that is not present with the Board of Education at this moment, correct?
No, it is that handbook that we heard on Monday is not in place. It doesn't exist.
Right.
Our
It is not here for,
No.
there's no paper trail on that handbook.
Well, it's not that it's just not here. Since the HR director told us Monday, there is no employee handbook, and she's in the process of writing that.
Right.
And then we provided one from our policy committee. Since it's non-existent, there wouldn't be anything at this time that would guarantee those paid holidays, and we want to make sure that they get them.
Yep. And so that's what they're seeing in the contract, and that's what they don't have to go with
Right.
it. So I just want to be clear.
Thank you.
And please note, that it's not that we don't have to go with it. We are electing not to go with it as a support for our employees.
Absolutely. We are going to move into a study session that we had scheduled just in preparation for our workshop, where we will talk about, just as a board, different, focus on unity and focus on, what we see as 2 or 3 priorities for next year, and aligning all of our leaders, our board, our superintendent, our central office staff, and our building administrators, so that we are all speaking a common language, making sure that we are defining. We talk about transparency a lot, but if we define it differently, then we don't have a common language. So our study session is more to just help get us as a board on the same page prior to meeting as a board with our superintendent next Thursday. So we will do that. Before we move into that, I do want to say that I am proudly wearing a Barth Elementary t-shirt tonight. And Barth Elementary is one of our 4 elementary schools. One of the things I'd like to point out about Barth is if you visit Barth Elementary, as soon as you walk in the lobby, you will see the free Barth Elementary little library in the lobby. It was created so that kids have access to more books to read, and they are continually accepting donations of books, because sometimes kids just want to keep the books to build. They don't have libraries at home, and we welcome them. There's a favorite book to keep it and reread it with a family member, with a friend, or pass it on to someone else. So that is a point of pride at Barth. Also, one thing I'd like to point out about Barth is that throughout virtual learning, the staff members delivered supplies to students who needed them, and some of our students were staying with other family members 3 hours away because families needed childcare, and our staff members just went to where the need was and still made sure students got that. Another thing that's great about Barth is they have a swag squad to promote Romulus Community Schools, not to promote just Barth, but Romulus Community Schools. So they travel through our community and look for homes that have the Romulus Community Schools yard signs, and they will then leave a Romulus Community Schools swag bag with cool surprises on the porch to help promote the district and promote supporting the district. A lot of great things happen at Barth. The staff and students adopt families with food donations at Thanksgiving time, and staff adopts families at Christmas time, provides gifts, gift cards, and food, and our district-wide accelerated curriculum and enrichment program for grades 3 through 6 is housed at Barth. That is another point of pride. And Barth, like all of our other elementary schools, if you are an incoming kindergartner and you enroll at Romulus Community Schools, you will receive this class of 2034 t-shirt, which I know that year just, and also a book, Joshua and Jasmine Go to Kindergarten. So if you have students enrolling in kindergarten, we encourage you to check out Barth Elementary or our other 3, Hale Creek, Rom L, and Wick Elementary. And if you have a student who you just want them to be in a wonderful community, please check out Romulus Community Schools, and we would be honored to be entrusted with the education and care of your child. So now we are on number 6, preparation for our August 5th workshop. This is more of a roundtable brainstorming discussion. So the floor is open for board members one at a time. If you have identified opportunities for improvement, goals to really focus on making profound impacts on students, or whether it's programming, the floor is open at this time for anybody who would like to share.
Madam President, I believe one of our main goals.
I'm sorry, Ms. Evans. Ms. Kennard, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we had quorum. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ms. Evans.
I believe we need to market. We need our district to grow. And it needs to be done in a professional manner that represents a positive influence on staff, students, the community, and it needs to go out of the Romulus Community Schools virtual system. We need to get back to yard signs. We need visibility. And we have failed drastically this year with that.
Agreed, thank you, Ms. Evans.
I just want to echo what Ms. Ebbets had shared. Yes, I think that it will make a tremendous difference if we do things a little bit different outside of social media. That personal connection is very important. And so I think that it should be a priority for us to, be intentional about recruitment. It will support our teachers, having the student's body, present. But it also builds a even stronger relationship with the community, because we don't want, our students going to other schools. And that should be a priority for us. But I also would like to see, as a priority, is focusing on the mental health of our students. That's going to be crucial coming into a school year, right off we're still in a pandemic, but it's something that is very dear when it comes to just understanding where our students are socially and emotionally. And I think that it will help, to even continue to have the students, but also consider staff as well, because we all have experienced, the challenges that we faced during the pandemic.
Yes, thank you. We talk about maximizing our impact on students, and we talk about student success, but I would like to see us as a board, and together with our superintendent and directors and building administrators, talk about what does that look like. What do our building administrators think is missing, that is hindering student success? And directors, like what do they see is needed, so that we're not just talking about student success, but we are actually, we have measurable goals and progress monitoring to make sure that we are impacting our students. When a student leaves Romulus Community Schools, when they graduate, they need to be life ready. We have this time to help prepare them. But what does life ready mean? There's, college ready and there's career ready. So I know as a board, we've talked a lot about our CTE program for high school students, and we had started to move in that direction, and we haven't done a lot. We haven't had talks about that for this upcoming school year, but I think that as we talk about our equity and excellence at the high school for 9th to 12th graders, that we are looking at a rigorous curriculum, high quality instruction, the supports needed for our students to hit those marks of excellence, but also a strong, viable, marketable career tech program where students who choose that path are able to find sustainable employment upon graduation because we've prepared them for that. So what that looks like, and also not just creating the program, but marketing our program. As we get it, like our incoming freshmen or every year, we're talking to our high schoolers about, here's what we offer at Romulus High School. And then using maybe some students to go into the middle school and saying, here's what you can look forward to, not if you go to Romulus, but when you get to Romulus High School, here's what you have to look forward to, and start promoting it there, and even maybe a career day at our elementary level, where we are showing them some of our career tech programs and bringing in students to talk about, here's the program I'm in, here's why I like it, here's some career options when I complete it. And then our elementary students are going home talking about, guess what they do at Romulus High School. So we're creating an atmosphere of, when I get to Romulus High School, here's this coveted program that I get to be a part of that helps me.
I think that's important, but President Powles, I think that, like, I know that you mentioned the career days at the elementary schools, but it starts at the elementary. So it should be something that would get them, you know, build some type of college readiness or career readiness, depending on, like, when you talk about life skills, I think of what type of programs do you have in your elementary schools? Do we have in our elementary schools that will jumpstart that interest? Because it should transition over to, from elementary to middle school to high school. And so, of course, yes, we will have that CTE program, and it's going to be outstanding, and the students are going to be looking forward to coming to the high school. But what is offered in those elementary schools programs that's going to tap into students' talents and their abilities, or even discover talents that they never knew that existed. So I think that that's going to be important with the programming, just extending it across the board, giving them a rich learning experience and things that they look forward to when it comes to building their talents.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Ms. German, because that is a fundamental point that we cannot overlook, that we do need to start exposing our students to opportunities and options, and providing them with opportunities to explore what they like. And we've talked about before in our elementary buildings the need for music programs, for band, for dance, for for robotics, for STEM, for sports. And so, because a lot of times, like elementary children, they're embracing that, and so are the families. And not having that makes us less marketable. But then again, when we offer it at a secondary level, a lot of times students won't try something for the first time at a middle school level because they feel awkward or afraid of failure. So thank you for bringing that up. I know another thing that Ms. Evans has brought up multiple times is looking into starting a Young Fives program in our district, so that we have that option for children who are starting kindergarten but have late birthdays, and they're ready to start kindergarten but maybe not ready to keep up at the pace of the kindergarten curriculum. And what's wonderful about Young Fives is it's the same curriculum but at a slower pace. So children are in a classroom where all of the curriculum and the pace is set up for them to learn and love learning and be successful, because it is more appropriately geared to levels. And then the next year, these students come in already ahead of incoming kindergartners because they've had that year of being met where they are. So I know in districts that have a Young Fives program, and I'm not going to name them, there are a lot, but that is a highly sought after program by parents. And the districts that have that program have waiting lists.
Principal, I'm saying principal.
Principal German.
Sorry. But, so President Powles, I also want us to consider interventions. There's going to be large gaps in academics due to the time that the students are spending learning from home virtually, as well as just that hybrid model. So I think that it's going to be very important for us to be intentional about our MTSS process. I know that Dr. Lyles had talked about Tier 1 instruction and the importance of making sure that our teachers provide high-quality instruction. But I do believe that Tier 2 and Tier 3 is going to be essential, considering where, our students are, and not from it may not be from them at all.
Right.
It's just the experiences and the things that we're going through right now.
Sure.
So I think that MTSS is going to be really important for the upcoming school year, and as a goal, the interventions, and it does not have to just be academics. We're talking about behavior, we're talking about attendance, we're talking about really meeting our students where they are.
Yes. That's also a good point, because when we think of Tier 1, where the majority of students usually fall, even those students now may need 2 and 3 as the baseline, because there have been the unique challenges of the pandemic, academic and non-academic. So not to just get locked in those boxes, but look at students where they are. Ms. Kennard, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Pretty much everything that I had in those particular areas have been spoken and brought forth.
Another thing I would like to see us do and model as a board, but also district-wide for this upcoming school year, is be very intentional in our climate and culture, and creating one where students and staff all want to be what they all want to come. If we have any kind of, seeds don't grow in toxic soil. And so we need to be willing to really do self-assessments and group assessments and building assessments, and be intentional about creating a culture of wellness and support and just togetherness and unity, because ultimately that's going to help us maximize every expenditure, every decision in a way that profoundly impacts our students in a positive way.
Madam Secretary, I think another thing that,
You are, Madam Secretary.
I'm sorry, Madam President.
I'm Secretary.
I was
Prin-
thinking
I'm
of a
Principal.
television show, I'm sorry.
I'm getting your titles, Principal German and Secretary.
I think one thing that the district does need to improve on is communication. Just even sitting here tonight, communication can be detrimental, or it can be very, very positive. And we need to build on all avenues of communication.
Yes. So, Sean, do you have anything that you would like to add to this conversation from, your perspective as an experienced superintendent? And I would like to say that this is Sean's last week with us. We thank you for everything that you've done, the many questions you've been asked, the many, that's an understatement, but you have been, committed to getting answers and getting those to us, and keeping communication, two-way communication going, and keeping all board members informed. And I still laugh when I met with you the first day and said, "Oh, it's summer. Our directors basically run everything. You're just gonna be here." And I ate my words, so I was wrong. I apologize. But yes, I did. I admit when I am wrong. But I thank you for the things you did that you expected to do, and the many things that you could have never anticipated. Thank you for your time here and for helping us during Ben's recovery.
Thank you very much. And I think the part I take from
Yeah.
that is you said that directors do everything. And that is so true. Like, I have been in all their offices. I've been in Mr. Cooper's, Mrs. Hazlitt, Mrs. Claire's. I've been, Mrs. Broden's office, the special education director, and just to ask questions. And then the constant communication with the administrative assistant, Paula Gutzman, who was on vacation before I arrived and probably is thinking, thank goodness I'm on vacation next week. And so she's hating me right now because I mentioned her name, but she has been so valuable to me. So with that going forward, I would just say goals are, for the district, are very important. I think the goals that you guys are looking at in the future, to me, that sounds like the beginnings of a skeleton of a strategic plan. In the different areas. And so I think that you continue on with your conversations, keeping lines of communication open, being transparent as much as possible, and just streamlining communication is important. There's a lot of great questions coming down the line, and I think that because you guys need the answers, and I think that it's nice that you facilitate the questions through one person, the board president, to the superintendent. And then one of the reasons for that is so if one board member asks one person, then the superintendent asks someone else to do it. And before you know it, the duplication of work could be happening. Or a staff member may not remember who they gave a report to. And they're like, oh, I gave that report to. And I think in our talks, we've talked about how important it is for all 7 to know. That's why even sometimes when I get an email from one, I will try to respond to all 7. Because if one board member is asking the question, then the other 6 need to know the answer as well, so that everyone's making a decision based on the full plate or knowledge of information. So my recommendation, take it or leave it, is committees would be helpful. I know you identify some. Just keep in mind there are a difference between, as you begin to identify those, there's a difference between a district level committee and a board committee. And I'm looking at you as a building administrator in another district. I think you know what I'm talking about. There are those committees that board members will sit on because it's nice to have their presence there so they can share back with the whole group. But there are district level committees at that time where the district leaders run the committee. And there are board level committees where a board member, a chair, runs that committee, such as finance, executive, policy, or bylaws, whatever you call it. So those are 2 different levels of committee and who's running those. And so that's just something to keep in mind. So.
Madam President,
Yes, Ms. Kennard?
I just would like to ask a question. Is there a debriefing scheduled for the interim superintendent, with the superintendent, after starting when the superintendent returns? Because normally when you, I'm quite sure that he would probably want to debrief his experiences and share some things with him. I don't know if that's something that was scheduled or anything. Do you know of anything of that?
Right, so we
President
were,
and interim superintendent.
right, we were talking about that this evening, and Monday morning, there is a cabinet meeting, but Sean has said that he will do a virtual meet with Dr. Edmondson so that they can do that debriefing and make sure that all of the information, that Sean has over this past month gets communicated to Ben so that there's that fluidity.
Okay, thank you.
So I do want to mention, so that board members are aware, the MASB Annual Leadership Conference that's held every year in November is being held November 11th through the 14th, and it's going to be hosted at the Amway Grand in Grand Rapids. So I wanted to point out that a lot of times for these annual leadership conferences, when they're held in person, keep in mind there are board members from all over the state attending, and the host hotel often fills up very quickly. So we have been mindful of, in the past, of getting those reservations made ASAP, so that we've had board members with, who have different mobility problems that have been placed off-site. So if you know that you are going, please send Paula an email so that she can get rooms booked, so that you can get a spot at the host hotel, because it is a wonderful, it's a wonderful conference, but it is packed full and it is exhausting, and just the commute sometimes it makes it difficult. So MASB will have a room rate, but if you know that you want to go, just let Paula know. Those can get booked, and then we can end up getting the special group rate then later. So I just wanted to, because MASB will be sending out information next week, and once they do, those rooms will fill. So if you know that you want to go, just shoot Paula an email. And then the other thing I wanted to bring up, I know that was in with board member concerns that I had sent to you, Sean, but we have, so many things coming through. I just wanted to talk about our district website, the things that, by law need to be there. We have the new policy new policy manual that needs to be uploaded, the current bargaining agreements, because the ones there that are currently posted are old. We also need our accounts payable for 2020/21, as well as 2021/22 on the website. Employee compensation, that is also outdated. I believe it's for 1920, but based on the new contracts we have more employees now in different, and we don't need the employee name, but the position of those making 100,000 or more. That's required by law to be on our website. Also, our district credit card information, that is old. There's one employee listed for 1920 who's no longer with the district. So we need district credit card information updated on our website. It's all staff by name who have a credit card, and whether it's a MasterCard or Home Depot or Gordon's or what it is, along with the limit and the current balance that's required. And for last year, we didn't have it up, so for 2021 and then also 21/22. So we're in compliance there. Judy, do you have any final comments or communications?
I just wanted to ask that in the near future or by our next meeting, that I'm not sure that all of our board members are aware of all the legal information that they need to be brought up to date on. So I know that there are some emails that were sent to you pertaining to that issue, where all of the legal things that pertain to the district, our board members need to know what it is, and to make sure that we're meeting those deadlines.
Yes. Thank you for that. And I've sent an email to legal, and I followed up and resent it, and I don't have a response yet, so I will be making a call tomorrow. And I'm going to request a closed session with legal too, so board members, that will be upcoming sooner rather than later.
Right, because they need to be aware of the status of all legal situations.
Exactly. Thank
or
you.
cases.
Ms. German, do you have anything?
Actually, I know that interim superintendent, Mr. McNabb, had shared the importance of committees. And my thoughts, and I truly agree with him wholeheartedly, I would like to see more collaboration with the administration and the board, not just central office, but the school leaders, I have not met but a few of them, and it would be really nice for us to come together when we talk about opportunities and access. Opportunities, and the word opportunities is unity.
Yes.
And I think in order for us to come together and provide those opportunities, I think that we should be united. And I think that it's important for us to be able to collaborate and learn what's going on in the schools and, hear their challenges and hear their things that are going really well. That's going to be important. And I would like to see more opportunities to collaborate with school leaders as well as central office. So I think those committees are awesome, but I also think that we should be able to connect with, the Romulus staff,
Yes.
be able to communicate and just have conversations. I
Yes.
think that's going to be important.
That is very important. Thank you for that, Ms. German. Ms. Evans, do you have anything?
I would like this to be officially put out as information that I feel with all these contracts and the situations that we've had with this, there needs to be something addressed or put into files of those that have been creating these contracts without board input, the matter of how we've been receiving them. I think that something needs to be done with HR about this, about the individuals that are responsible for this, and we can discuss this at the next meeting. Thank
Okay.
you.
I will note that. Thank you. Board members, be prepared. I will call as soon as I receive confirmation that these contracts are rewritten. We can join virtually. It will be the only thing on the agenda, but I think that we do need to show our staff that we're not against them and we want to approve these contracts. So be prepared as soon as we can to have a closed meeting, a special meeting with the only action item, the approval of these contracts. And it's one motion, they're all done together.
Can it be a phone call vote? Or does it have to be a
No, we need
meeting?
to meet as a collective.
Okay,
But
I
you
just-
can join virtually by your phone.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Because we're not a board unless we have 4 of us in the same place at the same time. Dr. Edmondson will be returning on Monday. So his procedure went well, and his recovery, he has been recovering nicely and champing at the bit to get back. And so we are excited to have him return on Monday and work together as a board with him for our students in our district. So our next regular meeting, we will not have Mr. McNatt with us, but we will have Dr. Edmondson. So, and yes, we welcome you to join us virtually or in person anytime you would like. Yeah, if you know, and you're not formally finished until all of those questions are answered.
Oh,
so.
no. That's a different invoice.
So you might be here another month, but with that being said, motion to adjourn. Support. Moved by Piles, supported by Evans. Roll call vote.
German? Yes. Kennard?
Yes.
Evans, yes. Piles?
Yes. Meeting is adjourned at 7:03.